Right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Commissioner Cooper, and we are in day 2 of our summer tour. We have a New York state of mind with the New York Jets. Gotta suck it up. We're in it tonight. It's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah! It worked for The Rock and it's going to work for me.
And you just got slandered.
That's what it is! This court is adjourned.
It is Commissioner Cooper.
Welcome to Sophistication Station.
I'm here to save the fantasy rosters.
And it's time for TSS Fantasy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get ready.
Yeah, let's go!
Oh.
E-T-S, Jets, let's go!
Oh, man, I was hoping his mic would just be out for the rest of the night. Unfortunately not. Let's just start the introductions with Fred. Welcome into the studio, Fred the Jester Reyes.
I've been waiting for this season for so long. I've been waiting for this time. Let's go, baby. Jets time. Let's talk about Jets football.
Oh, man, boy, it's going to be a long night. Let's welcome into the studio Justin Jesus Herrera.
Hey, I'm repping the green for you, Freddie. I found the ugliest green I have in the house, and I'm repping it for you, bud. I'm excited for your season. You're definitely one of my favorite teams in the East right now. The Jets, Jets.
We all know Justin's a closet Jets fan. It's all good. I even busted out the green tonight. And by the way, even wore the brown jacket since you were busting my chops about always wearing the black. Welcome into the studio, our friend Nick. You got flandered macaronis.
Hey, you know what? It's Wednesday. We got the NBA Finals on. You know what it feels like? It feels a good night for a bender. We should go on a bender tonight. We should go on a big bender tonight. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
We are definitely set for a big bender indeed. We got a lot of fun stuff for the New York Jets tonight. I'm excited. Don't forget, go to tssfantasy.com. Look at all of our latest rankings. Still waiting on Fred's. Don't forget also to visit our sponsors. Go to Underdog Fantasy. You're going to be waiting a long time. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code TSS. We'll double the deposit up to $100. Jazz Sportsbook as well. We have lots of great different sponsorships every month. And also Pro-Am Belts. Make sure you go visit them today. Also, hit that subscribe button. You're on the Fantasy Sports Corporation. All the latest and greatest and all types of shows we got for you. So come check us out. Hit the notification bell so you can get all of our great stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to say adieu to you, gentlemen. We'll see you back a little later when we do our fantasy focus. We're going to bring our guest in a second. Before we do that, you know how we start things. Let's take a visit from the doc. That's right. The doctor is in. We're kicking off again our summer tour. We're in New York to talk about the stinky Jets. Dr. Miller, welcome into the studio, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's start with Aaron Rodgers, 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers. So last year, for the first time in his career, he finished outside the top 10 in fantasy, finishing QB 13. Flanders this season has 11 over Tua, Wilson, and Jones. I think you, as well as Justin, having him at 18 and 16 are more appropriate rankings for this season. But regardless of whether he has a big fantasy season, he's an incredibly durable player. Played in 15 or more games over the last 12 seasons, 17 games last season. He's 10% of the bench. Breece Hall, we talked about him after week 7 last year when he sustained his ACL tear. At that time, last year, week 7, I said This is going to affect him next season too. He's not ready for training camp, although the Jets are optimistic, or according to their coach, quote, very optimistic, he'll be ready to play week 1. Regardless, we've seen how much running backs' fantasy performance suffers in their first season after an ACL repair. We're going to put something in the show notes, a little bit of evidence to support this. But briefly, in the first season after ACL repair, running backs have significantly decreased rushing yards, receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns, and total fantasy points. So don't look for a breakout season for him. He may very well be a great pick in 24. Remember, he's just 22 years old, but do not draft him this year. Maybe get him on the waivers late season. 75% to the bench. Lastly, Alan Lazard, left OTAs early last Tuesday, but later tweeted he was 100% okay and that he was, quote, hit in the gonads during practice. I think he's going to be a great late draft surprise for somebody. As long as he doesn't get hit in the gonads again, 20% to the bench.
100% to the bench for Mrs. Lazard. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, Doc. First of all, Doc, I love you, but there is no way anyone is getting Breece Hall on the waiver wire. Just bringing that up. Just want to throw that out there. All right, listen, as Nick alluded to, we got a Bender. We got a Jude. We got a Chaos. We got it all. We got some great guests to bring in. Let's bring them in. Talk about the New York Jets.
Our next stop on our summer tour is the beautiful city of New York, where we break down the disgusting 2023 New York Jets.
That lady say disgusting. She's fired. Get her out of here. Let's welcome in our guest to the studio. First, our friend, neighbor, our buddy, Howard Bender. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
Commissioner Cooper, thanks so much for having me. Listen, diehard Jets fan here, so I am. I'm cautiously optimistic, but we'll have to wait and see.
BIS, I know we got certain people are a little excited, especially in our studio. I had to bring him in to hang out with us, Mr. Freddie. All right, let's welcome in our buddy Jude. Welcome into the studio, my friend. Appreciate you coming in here.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank y'all for having me on. Very excited about the season. Probably the most excited I've been for a season ever. I've only been a fan since 2015, and this is a season with like legit playoff aspirations, maybe even Super Bowl. So definitely excited for this upcoming year. And of course, thank you guys so much for having me.
Jude's calling Super Bowl. I can't even believe it. Let's also welcome in another great friend to the show. Been on quite a few times. Our buddy Jeremy from Jets Lounge Chaos. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
What's going on? It's good to be here.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the Jets. Excited about this season. It's going to be a good one.
We appreciate you coming in, my friend. All right, well, we're going to start out tonight. We're going to talk about we're going to start tonight, and I'm going to play a little game with you guys to start things out. Look at Freddie. He's already in our comments talking smack already. Like you're here on here. Let's talk about it here. All right, anyway, let's talk about last season. And as I bring up a few stats, I just want to play a little game with you guys, a little word association game. So when I get done, I would like to hear in 3 words or less, you sum up last year's season. And of course, I'll give you a chance to expand on it. But let's talk about it. You guys were 7-10 last season. That was good for 4th in the AFC East. Patriots had a little bit of a surge there towards the end, but yada, yada. That's what they normally do. Let's talk about the offensive stats because that's important as we bring up this year. Points per game last year, you guys were 29th with 17.4. Yards per game were 25th. Passing yards per game, 15th. Rush yards per game, 25th. So the offense, a.k.a. not so good. Go into the defensive stats. Points per game, 4th in the league, 18.6 per game. Yards against, 311. That's also good for 4th. Passing yards per game, you were 3rd. That's also very important, 189.4. Rush yards per game, 121.7 and 16. Now, we all know what happened with the QB situation. We all got the mom jokes with Zach Wilson. We know, he obviously hopefully has learned a valuable lesson in humility and what it takes to be a leader. And if he hasn't, he will be learning coming up this year, hopefully. So I'm going to leave it up. Let's go around the room first. Howard, I'll go to you first. Give me 3 words or less. And of course, you can expand on it. How you feel about last year's season?
Disappointingly poor character. That's what last season means to me in a nutshell. With everything that went down with Zach Wilson and Mike White and the T-shirts and all that stuff. It was just poor character. We want to talk about the game itself, great, but that's kind of what trumped the season last year in a disappointing way.
Yeah, indeed. Like, all the turmoil around Zach Wilson, when you guys really did have some high expectations. I talked about it on our show prior. I was sitting in our swimming pool and I had a TV out here and I watched your preseason game against the Giants. It was the only game I caught of the Jets in preseason, but I was very impressed with Breece Hall. You could see he's got juice and he's a very exciting player. So anyway, long story short, it was disappointing. I do agree. Jeremy, what do you think, my friend? What did you think of last year? 3 words or less.
New York Infirmary. A lot of people will forget we were actually a top 12 offense, and that was with one of the worst quarterback play in the NFL up until Game 7 when Breece Hall and AVT went down. And AVT was already filling in for multiple injuries in the offensive tackle position. And I don't think there are many teams that could be 5-6 offensive tackles deep, into their roster, playing guys they find off the junk pile that are going to do much.
No, agreed. And not only that, with your questions at quarterback, expanding that issue. So, yeah, totally with you on that. Jude, what do you say, my brother? How'd you feel about last year in 3 words or less?
Did not finish. This was, we started off extremely hot, with Breece Hall and, like Jeremy just mentioned, we were all cylinders firing. We were 5-2 at one point this year, one of the best records in the AFC. And I remember at one point we had a legit chance to be the number 1 team in the AFC. I want to say if we would have beat the Patriots and the Bills would have lost or something, we would have been the number 1 team in the AFC East. We lost the game to the Patriots, and it kind of all went downhill from there. Well, we beat the Patriots, we lost to the Patriots, beat the Bills, and then it went downhill from there. We had the Mike White game. We had a couple flashes here and there, but we just did not finish the year. I mean, we were 7-10. We almost made the playoffs. If we would have had, some type of quarterback play, could have potentially made it, but we just did not finish. It's what Sal has been telling the team this entire offseason. He's saying we did not finish. We lost the last 6 games of last year. So this season, we got to finish what we started last year and hopefully finally make it back to the playoffs.
Speaking of Sal, I mean, I hate to even say it, but you can't help but be a football fan and not like your head coach. I mean, honestly, I hate to even say that, but come on, you got to get it out of me. All right, Fred, let's hear it. I've heard it 100 times already, but give me 3 words or less. What do you think of the Jets season and expand on it?
Last year, too damn immature. Zach Wilson on the podium saying what he said, especially about the defense didn't take blame. Elijah Moore coming out, not happy. Even when our star, oh my God, our wide receiver,
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Yep, every time a pass wasn't thrown, every time a pass wasn't thrown correctly, he's throwing his hands up in the air. So there was a lot of immaturity on the offensive line. In the whole offense in totality, except for maybe Breece Hall. Defense was stellar. But that's why you bring in the new quarterback. It's going to alleviate that immaturity.
All right. Well, yeah. Speaking of that, good segue, my brother. Appreciate that. Let's stop talking about what was. And let's talk about what will be. You got marquee additions. Obviously, the big Aaron Rodgers acquisition. Allen Lazard coming over, or Mr. Laser, as Dr. Miller liked to refer to him. Randall Cobb. You just picked up Mercurl Hardman, if I always say that incorrectly as well. So offensively, some good additions. Honestly, I saw some defensive additions as well, but nothing really more marquee, I think, than what you got going on offensively, which is what you needed. You did, of course, lose Mike White to America's team, the Miami Dolphins. Elijah Moore is gone. Braxton Berrios, also a Fin as well. And the draft, you guys did very well in the draft. Round 1, Will McDonald, the linebacker from Iowa. Joe Tippmann, the center from Wisconsin, in round 2. Round 4 was Carter Warren, the tackle from Pittsburgh. I'm not even going to try to butcher all this, but I'm going to try it. Israel Abikonda, the running back from Pittsburgh, in round 5. Zaire Barnes, the linebacker, Western Michigan, in round 6. Also, Jarek Bernard Converse, cornerback out of LSU. And Zach Kuntz, tight end from Old Dominion to finish things off. So that's what is now going into this season, a tough AFC East, as you all know. It's going to be a very big battle, but I want to know predictions. Howard, I'm going to go to you first. What is your prediction this season for the New York Jets?
I mean, listen, obviously fixing the quarterback situation was huge, and we have a very competitive team. We have a very strong offense. Aaron Rodgers taking control. You kind of you're locking into Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett, bringing that old Green Bay magic. That's the new offensive scheme that they're going to end up implementing here. Is that going to be the game changer for the Jets? Will Breece Hall come back with his knee, and is he going to be the running back that we need? We know that we've got a decent passing game, and we know that Aaron Rodgers can do what he does in a roundabout sort of way, not what he once was, but he's still going to be a massive improvement on the QB position. We won 7 games last year. Vegas has the wins total right now at 9.5. Can the Jets win 10 games this year? I think they can. They've got a soft back end schedule where they're playing like the Washington Commanders. They've got the Houston Texans, but front loaded right now. The Jets have the 7th toughest strength of schedule in the NFL. So I think they're right there on the cusp. If I'm gonna bet it, I'm gonna take over. So I think the Jets come away as a 10-win team, and I think that they will hopefully land themselves into a playoff spot and maybe do something beyond the first round. So that's kind of where I have them.
I like it. I will just say on the back end of that schedule, don't forget you got that L coming on Black Friday. Just don't forget that. Jeremy, how about you, my friend? What do you say? What's your prediction for this season?
I'm a little bit more optimistic. I don't take strength of schedule too seriously before a season starts because it always changes. Because you never know who's going to surprise, who's not going to surprise. Last year was completely reversed from what Jets fans thought. So that's not what I think about. What I think about is the fact that we went from the 32nd best quarterback play in the NFL to Aaron Rodgers. So it's not just – and the Jets were never a team that needed an Aaron Rodgers in his prime. Like if you look at what we were going into week 7, the trajectory of the team, we needed competent quarterback play. I think we're getting a lot more than competent quarterback play. And I think we've done a lot to assure that the defense will continue to be a top 5 defense, if not better. And when I look at just history, I say Aaron Rodgers had a top 5 defense once in his career. He won a Super Bowl. I look at the record of Green Bay all those years when Rodgers had a strong team with them and around him. And there were so many seasons where they won 12, 13, 14 games. I would be disappointed with anything under 11. I'm thinking 11, 12 wins.
Nice. I like it. I like it. Jude, how about you? What's your prediction, my friend?
I'm kind of in the same boat with everyone else. I'm thinking around 10 to 12 wins. Definitely feel like the Jets hit that over. Knock on wood, hoping we do. But I'm definitely feeling the over 10 to 12 wins somewhere in that area. The Jets won 7 games last season without really any legit quarterback play for a lot of games. Sure, the schedule is different. Currently, right now, it's one of the toughest in the NFL, but things change all the time. We say the end of our schedule is super easy, but that was supposed to be the case last year, and then we lose the last 6 games of the year. So you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. For all we know, the Houston Texans could be the next Cincinnati Bengals. I highly doubt that's going to happen, but you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. But this defense is extremely good. Top 5 unit in the NFL last year. You had 2 All-Pro players in Quentin Williams and Sauce Gardner. The cornerback duo you have with Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed might be one of the best in the NFL. Defensive line is extremely deep and extremely talented with, of course, Quentin Williams and all the edge rushers the New York Jets have as well. And, you have a Pro Bowl linebacker in C.J. Mosley. This defense, I definitely feel like has a chance to be top 5 once again in the NFL just because we retained so many of the starters. You look at the only starter that's probably not coming back from last year. It's probably going to be Sheldon Rankins, maybe Quan Alexander, LaMarcus Joyner in the safety room, although that's not really much of a key loss. So you're retaining mostly your same defensive players. Another year in Jeff Ulbrich's system. It's going to go well. Potentially top 5 again, and that carrying us to wins last year, keeping us in games. And like Jeremy said, all we needed was a competent quarterback, and now we got one in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, now we finally have a good quarterback, a Hall of Fame level quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Finally have one in the building, and with the weapons we have on offense, it's not, insane weapons. It's not a top 5 weapon group in the NFL, but it's solid, serviceable guys. You have a potential star in Garrett Wilson. Who knows how Breece Hall is going to return from his injury? Dr. Mike said don't even draft him in fantasy football, so he might not be on in 2023, but Breece Hall can come back and be at least a shell or similar to what he was in 2023. I feel like we're set off in the running back room. And then, outside of Garrett Wilson, the receiver room, you got Alan Lazard, you got Harmon, Corey Davis, Randall Cobb, Aaron Rodgers' best friend, plus a very deep tight end group with CJ Uzomah, Tyler Conklin, Jeremy Rucker, who's been having a very good offseason so far. And who knows what Zach Wilson is going to do, the 7th round pick. So the Jets have solid weapons on offense, a Hall of Fame quarterback. If injuries come up on the offensive line, it's a solid running group and a top 5 defense that should be good enough to win us into 12 games this year. Definitely thinking playoffs. And if we don't make the playoffs, the season is a disaster, 100%.
Fred, how about you, sir?
Well, I think he said a mouthful, but honestly, I think our offense is going to be a top 10. I think we win. I think we go 11-6. I think our defense is going to be a tad bit better because of Will McDonald. I know a lot of people either loved it or hated the pick. I liked it. I don't know if you know, but on defense, Saleh uses a wide 9 scheme, which means he gets to come off the edge unblocked. Where in Iowa State, he actually was inside the tackle, so he didn't really utilize his speed, quickness, and hands. So I think that helps the defense a little bit. I think we go up to top 3 on defense, and I think maybe top 10, 15 offense, 11-6. I'm thinking it's really the first 6 game gauntlet. If we go 3-3 or better, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, I mean, all you guys are pretty much in the same wheelhouse. I'm really of the mindset of this squad, and I jokingly put up Jets hater, but I am a little. But I am of the mindset to, if I'm looking at it just as a football perspective, I feel like the Jets could be one of 2 things, either really good or they might be really bad because of Aaron Rodgers. And if he gets in his little pouty in the New York offense, and the New York media, I'm sorry, that's my only concern with this team. But as as you've all mentioned, the fact of the matter is you guys were a good team without a good quarterback. You have a great quarterback now. So how could you not be better? Just makes sense, right? All right, so we've talked all serious business. Let's have a little fun. Well, I like the way it's broken up, too. So I'm going to do Fred and Howard versus Jude and Jeremy right now. We're going to do fantasy. Well, because you guys are side by side, so I can do you guys against each other. So let's do the fantasy quiz show, Jets edition. And by the way, just so everyone knows, fantasy quiz shows run just like Family Feud, basically. So you get 3 strikes on your team, and you guys have played it before. And you guys know what's up. You guys know the deal. Let's get it on. It's the fantasy quiz show time.
There seems to be no sign of intelligence.
It's the fantasy quiz show.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. It's gonna be a long game.
All right. It's not going to be a long game tonight because we got Jets experts in the building tonight. All right. They're right next to me. Let's get them to start it off. It's Fred versus Jeremy in round 1. Here we go. Top 5 answers on the board. We're going to go with quarterbacks all time. I'm looking for the top 5 QBs with the most thrown TDs. Quick, that went so quick I didn't even hear it. All I heard was the check. Congratulations to whoever said whatever they said. I know somebody got it. All right, so what was I'm assuming someone said Joe Namath, I'm assuming.
Are we supposed to just yell out answers?
Yes.
I was going to say Ken O'Brien.
Who did someone say Ken?
Season touchdown leaders.
So yes, we're going touchdown, but hold on one second. So we got Ken O'Brien he was number 2 with 124 is what I got. Did someone say Joe Namath and I just missed the X? Thank you, Judge, coming in.
No. So that was my mistake. I was jumping the gun with Fred because Fred was over here like this, and I was like, all right, so everybody freaking knows that Joe Namath is up there, and I thought that he had gotten it, but that was my mistake on that one, and the correct answer was Ken O'Brien.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that I'm glad I got a judge in the back now too. So I got Jeremy and Jude. You guys got control of the board. All right, so first of all, you got Ken O'Brien. Let's go next.
And you were gifted Joe Namath.
Go ahead and hit it, Justin, because that's correct.
Are you a Jets fan if you don't know Joe Namath?
Right. So he's number 1 on the board with 170. All right, so what else you got, guys? Jude, we'll go to Jude since you answered the first one. Jude, what you got?
Give me Vinny Testaverde.
Vinny Testaverde. Colorblind Crusader is on the board. He's number 5 with 77 TDs. All right, you're missing number 3 and number 4.
I'd say Chad Pennington.
Chad Pennington.
What a storied list this is.
Number 5. Some of the greatest of all time. All right. Chad Pennington on the list at number 4 with 82. You're missing number 3.
Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez. Jeremy, you got a guess?
Let's see. Who are we missing?
So far the answers are Joe Namath number 1, Ken O'Brien 2, Chad Pennington 4, Vinny Testaverde number 5. You're missing the number 3.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go with. I had in my head, I forgot. Who was I thinking? Shoot, it was right in my head. I lost it. Ken O'Brien. Richard Todd.
Richard Todd. They take round 1. Great sweep there. Richard Todd is number 3 on this list with 110 TD passes. All right, Howard and Jude, you guys are up mano a mano. We're going to go to the running back position. Top 5 answers on the board. I'm looking for all-time running backs with the most rushing yards in just history.
Curtis Martin.
Curtis Martin.
Oh.
That is. Yeah, I knew the judge was off on that one. Curtis Martin actually is numero uno on the list, 10,302. Howard, you guys control. Fred, what you got?
My boy, this is what made me a Jets fan. Freeman McNeil.
Freeman McNeil.
That was my error. You see the graves?
Number 2 on the list, 8,074. Howard, what else you got?
Dude, I'll trump your gray with this white that I've got sitting right here, and go with an early '80s, one of my favorite running backs, just Johnny Hector.
Johnny Hector!
Wow!
Johnny 5 is alive at number 5 at 4,280. You got number 3 and number 4 on the list, Fred. I'll be impressed if you can get one of them.
I think I got one of them. It's the other one I'm worried about.
I got them both, Freddie. So
do you?
You take your pick. I know my Jets running backs, baby. I know them.
All right, I'm gonna say Emerson.
Emerson Boozer.
think that's where my luck runs out.
5,135 yards. He was number 3. You're missing number 4, Howard.
Come on, Howard.
We are not missing Matt Snell. Come on.
Yeah,
we have like the worst. Come on.
It's what it is.
Rep that to get back into it. It's 1 versus 1 right now. Now the questions get interesting. We got Fred versus Jeremy. This is round 3. Here we go. I'm looking for winning percentages all time, and I'm looking for the top 5 franchises you guys have the best winning percentage against.
Indianapolis Colts.
The Indianapolis Colts.
Come on, Freddie, think about this one. Come on. Who do we
Green
have
Bay.
the best winning percentage against?
Green Bay.
Is coming through with the Packers at number 4. You guys are 8-4 all time against the Packers, 643 average. All right, Howard, you guys got control. What else you got?
I believe we've got a strong winning percentage against. Gonna go with Tampa Bay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're definitely not shivering your timbers because you're against the Bucks. They are number 1. You're 10-3 all time against the Bucks. Unbelievable. Love it. All right, Fred, how about you? You got something else for me?
Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns. No boy.
They were bad for so long.
I'll have to look on the list where they're at for you, but yeah, not on this one. How about you, Howard? You got something else for us?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who we don't have like a lengthy history against, but
Right.
for so long, like that's kind of where I'm mulling this over, right? For teams who are like really bad for so long. I mean, I gotta think that we've got a great winning percentage against. Damn, I know. I'm sorry. I'll just say Panthers. I'll just blurt it out.
Hey, the Panthers. All right, Fred. Ball is in your court. So far, you got the Bucks at number 1, and you got the Packers at number 4. You're missing 2, 3, and 5, and 1
Come on, Freddie.
remaining.
Come on, Freddie.
So the NFC North Packers line. I'm gonna go with stay in the division. Let's go with it's either the Lions or the Vikings. Let's go with the Vikings.
The new man on the Minnesota Vikings. They are also, you are number 3 against the Vikings, also 8-4.
All right,
They're pretty much tied.
All right, Howard.
All right, Howard. Ball is now in your court. You're missing 2 and 5.
Boy, I gotta tell you, I don't feel confident here. I really don't. I'm gonna throw down. Let's see. We have a good winning percentage against. How about the Chargers? They were kind of weak for a while. Let's go with the Chargers.
Super Chargers.
We got novellas on.
Hey, that's due for 2023, baby. All right, Jude and Jeremy, you guys got a chance to steal it. You guys can talk
All right.
amongst yourselves to get a consensus if you like.
All right, Jude, what do you think of Jacksonville?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
They don't got a long.
They don't. I was thinking Denver.
It's
for
either
some
them
reason.
or nobody gets. Denver, we used to lose to them in Denver all the time, though. But I was thinking Jacksonville or Detroit.
Detroit's
Because
a good
Detroit
one
has
too. Yeah, they've been weak for
But
a
Jacksonville
while.
hasn't been around a long time. We beat them in the playoffs the first time we ever played them. We split the last two. So I'm thinking there's a chance that over those years, 2010, 2011.
Because I'm thinking because we beat them 2018. I'm pretty sure Darnold's rookie year, and then we lost to them again. Like we lost to them this year. Beat them Wilson's rookie year. So then we lost to them. I think Darnold's second year.
All right. I mean,
Right, there's not-
I've already searched
That's
the
it.
internet for the answers here. You guys have vamped long enough to like one of you is googling this.
I say we just go with
It's
them.
your call.
I say we go with Jacksonville.
The Jacksonville
Okay,
Jaguars.
Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help.
Of the list, number 2 was the Houston Texans. You are
Oh,
6-3.
They were pretty bad.
You were close. And number 5, Cardinals, 6-4 all time against the
never
Cardinals.
would've-
Damn, that's one of our top records, 6-4.
I know. Hey, listen, we do what you got to do when you're the Jets. All right, let's go now to my favorite side. It's going to be first Howard and Jude up. And this is my favorite question for the Jets fans tonight. We're going to stay with winning percentage, but let's go the opposite way. I'm looking for top 5 answers on the board. Give me the teams that you have the worst winning percentages against.
Eagles.
The
Yes.
Philadelphia Eagles.
We are absolutely terrible versus Eagles.
12 all time. They own you. That's their green you got on. All right, guys. Jude and Jeremy, you got the rest. Jeremy, your call. What do you got for the next one?
I'm gonna say Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Steelers. Number 4 on the list, 7 and 18 all time. All right, Jude, who you got?
Patriots.
New England Patriots.
He wasn't around for the Steve Grogan years. He doesn't
Yeah,
know. Come
yeah,
on.
and I'm afraid you've played him too much over time. You know, it's just not a good.
I'm thinking too recent.
Jeremy, how about you, friend? What you got?
Wow. I'm gonna say it's getting harder now. So let's see who's been traditionally really good. The San Francisco 49ers.
The 49ers. Number 3 on this list.
Y'all didn't win yet.
I don't know what's going on backstage. I'm at a party back there. 3 and 11. You guys.
That was just for me. I'm a 49ers fan. I love it.
Thanks, Judge. We appreciate you. All right. There, you guys are 3 and 11 all time against the 49ers. Number 3 on the list. All right. Jude, what you got?
Give me the Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
That shows my Jets knowledge.
Another team that was bad
really
back in
bad.
the day.
They used to be really bad.
See, I don't.
You got number 1 with the Eagles. You got number 3 with the 49ers and number 4 with the Steelers. You're missing number 2 and number 5 with 1 strike left.
Oh, boy. Wow. I'm going to say Dallas Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Where's
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
All right, Bender. It's all on you, bud.
Howard and Fred, can you steal this away? You got number 2 and 5 on this list out there.
I think you go with like a storied franchise, like an old school team, beating up on us. I would say that, all those years of the Chicago Bears. I don't think the Jets ever had the stones to really stand up to the Bears in the 70s at all. So I'll go with Chicago.
What are you go with that, Fred?
Bender. I believe in Bender.
The Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears are number 5. You guys are 4-9 against them all time. So number 5 on the list. And number 2 you missed, the Baltimore Ravens. You are 2-10 all time against the Ravens. Check that out. All right. Well, congratulations to Howard and Fred. You are tonight's winners.
This is the first time I won.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
Bender came through.
Unfortunately, though, on our show, when we have a winner, we ultimately have a loser.
Dumbass. Dang these. They call me dumbass. Black cotton stupid.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
What a game tonight, though. It was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to go on to our next fantasy segment, bring our boys in. Howard, obviously, you're a fantasy guy. You're welcome to hang out. You guys are welcome to hang out as well. But before we get into that, if you guys want to check out now, this is your time to plug yourself. So, Jude, if you want to go ahead and plug your show.
Oh, yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. You can catch me, Jude Jet Show, on YouTube, @Run4Jets on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you guys so much for having me on tonight. It was fun doing trivia. I obviously don't know much. My age is kind of showing here, but thank you guys so much for having me on. It was a fun time.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you had fun, and at least you learned something tonight, if anything.
Yeah.
Hey, where can we follow you and get all your great stuff, my friend?
On Jets Lounge Chaos every Wednesday night. I'll be on in like 15 minutes. The Wacky Wednesday show, 10 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday night. Sunday nights, and recent name change, Jets Lounge, is I'm connected and partnering with the Jets Lounge on Twitter. So we're actually really excited. With the next few weeks, we're gonna have Braylon Edwards on the show. We're trying to get Tony Richardson, and then we'll get the beat reporter for the last 25 years, Rich Cimini, who covers the Jets.
Rich Cimini.
Yeah, those are all the names of guests and people we're gonna have on. The Jets Lounge have them on Twitter all the time. We're just going to get them on my channel on YouTube because I'm kind of partnering with them and representing the Jets Lounge on YouTube.
No name dropping in here, boy. Ooh, wee. Listen, if you're a Jets fan, I don't know how you're not excited for sure. Very exciting stuff. All right, let's take a quick break. We come back. We're going to do our fantasy focus when we come right back, when I find that darn commercial. I'll be right back.
Underdog Fantasy is here to save your post-fantasy football season blues. The easiest place to play and win with the Underdog Fantasy app. Get up to 20 times your money in a single night with our Pick'em contests. Grab some insurance when setting your picks and win even when one pick fails. Go online now and use the promo code TSS to double your deposit up to $100. Sit gingerbread, good girl.
Righty, let's get on to our fantasy focus. We got the boys back in the building. I'm pretty excited because this shouldn't take too long. We are talking about the Jets. I'm just making jokes, guys. Just making jokes. All right, let's go to the QB position. Obviously, we got Mr. Aaron Rodgers. We talked about the doc, brought him up earlier, finishing QB 13 last year. But he was 21 in fantasy points per game among QBs who played at least 10 games. So don't think Mr. Rogers is the Mr. Rogers of old, is all I'm saying. Just temper the expectations. I got him right now at 16, only because it is a new face and a new place. A lot of new things to go on. It's hard for a QB to just walk into a new place and all of a sudden just be awesome. I mean, it could be a little bit of Brett Favre, but it could not. We'll see. I'm tempering my expectations, though, for Aaron Rodgers. Fred, I'm going to give you the floor. Actually, you know what? Let's give our guests the floor first. Mr. Bender, let's give it to you first. Where do you feel like Mr. Rodgers is? How do you like Mr. Rodgers going in for fantasy this year?
Listen, I think that he's not a guy that you're going to target as your QB1. I mean, he's probably, outside that top 12 QBs and will be probably, but it's a different kind of a want. There's some safety there with Rodgers. I think the floor is high with him, right? So, while you're probably not going to see like a bunch of 300-yard, 3 touchdown games, I do think he can give you 250 and 2 on the regular, on average, probably. And so, if that's the case, then I think that he is a very serviceable QB2 for your roster. I don't usually, it depends on who the QB is that I draft, but I don't often keep a backup QB unless the rest of the league is drafting second QBs heavily. So, Rodgers could be a guy who might just be sitting on waivers for me mid-season.
All right, you heard it, Jets fans. Write it into Howard Bender, Roto Buzz guy. Hey, Jets. Aaron Rodgers is on your bench. Fred, is he on your bench for you?
I think in a 12-man league, I think he's 10 to 12. I still think he's a first-round quarterback. While he was talking, I was honestly trying to write down 10 quarterbacks who are better with him, and I really couldn't. When I got to 10, 11, I was kind of shaky. I mean, I got Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Watson, Hurts, Herbert, Anyway, I once I got to 10 and 11, I was like, okay, he could fit right there at 10, 11. So I think in a 12-man league, I think he could be a starting quarterback in a 12-man roster.
All right, Nick, how about you, my friend? Where do you got our guy at? Actually, Doc gave you away, but go ahead, tell us what you got. You're on mute, sir. Might be a good thing. All right, Justin, while he fixes that, how about you? Where you got Mr. Rodgers at?
So Fred, I get your argument there, but I think you're thinking more along the lines of like quarterbacks for the NFL, not quarterbacks for fantasy. I could probably name about 15 quarterbacks better for fantasy. Let me get my list
Justin, let's go
now.
back and forth, man. I can do it with you here. Ready? I'll go first. Josh Allen.
Got him.
Patrick Mahomes.
Got him.
Jalen Hurts.
Got him.
Justin Herbert.
Joe Burrow.
Got him.
Justin Fields.
Lamar Jackson.
Got him.
Even Dak Prescott.
No.
Trevor Lawrence.
He said no. Hey, I'll
So
throw
you just
this
got
out
to
there
10.
because it is higher. Tua.
Okay. Deshaun Watson.
That's 12. Okay.
Ooh,
12.
that's a tough one right there.
Daniel Jones.
No,
That
not
rushing
Daniel.
ability. Don't give me that stinky look there, Freddie. Don't you do that.
Dude, you guys are pushing it with Prescott, Jones, and Tua. You're like,
Anthony Richardson. But that's the whole point, is that there's no rushing upside to him, Fred. There's nothing there for him to like get extra touchdowns, get extra yards. Rodgers was running out in the pocket and he pulled a freaking hamstring or a calf or whatever the hell it was. He's old, man. He's old. I love him as a quarterback. I still think he can sling that ball around there. And I think Garrett Wilson's going to have a hell of a year. But he's my QB 18 for a reason right now, and that's because he's got no upside outside of being a passer.
Nick, how about you, my friend?
Well, it is June, so I'm going to say right now that he's 11 because as I'm looking at my rankings, everyone else underneath him has either A, took a step backward or is unproven. You got all your rookies, and then you got guys like your Jones, your Tuas who can't stay upright, your Derek Carrs who who can't play well midseason on. You got your Stafford who's got a broken arm. So I mean, and then you got Kyler Murray who fell to number 20 for me. So at this point, it's June. So I'm going to say he's at 11.
Great analysis, Nick.
Yeah. The greatest analysis we've heard all evening. That's awesome. All right, let's go to the running back position, something you're actually might be good at. Breece Hall this year, the Jets. I mean, listen, last year he was RB6 and half PPR points and just 7 games played, 15.4. He, like I said earlier, Breece Hall has the juice. I actually disagree with Dr. Miller. He is my boy. He is correct that there is a lot of data that will confirm that once after an ACL, you do take a significant drop in fantasy points. However, he didn't play a whole season last year. So I like Breece Hall, and I like him. You guys mentioned the schedule. And again, I know the schedule may be different, but from those teams, you got teams that don't have very good rushing defenses. I like Breece Hall a lot, actually, and I have him ranked number 8 overall right now. Again, it is early, so that's where I got. And I got Michael Carter right now, number 56, because who knows who their backups. They were playing a bunch of Ty Johnson a lot, Zonovan Knight. They're playing a bunch of different guys for his backup role. So I like Breece Hall a lot. It depends really if something happens to him. I'm not really sure, you guys. That's why I got the experts in to tell me who else to get. So Howard, what say you about the Jets running backs?
I mean, listen, I think Breece Hall can be a top 15 running back this season. I think that there's obviously some trepidation. You just don't know how a guy is going to come back from an ACL situation. And from everything that I've kind of, listened to and read through and tried like fishing for information, there's optimism that he'll, be able to start the season on time, but, we're still kind of, in that gray area. So I do kind of worry about that, just, a little bit. But I mean, the running back position is such a crazy position because you don't have, real traditional bell cows like you used to. There's a lot more shared backfields out there. So to know that if he's healthy, Breece Hall will see the majority of touches in that offense. Now, it won't be as heavy a run scheme as it was with LaFleur as the offensive coordinator. But, if Breece Hall is going to get himself, 16 to 20 touches on average per game, dude, I'm definitely in for that. And I think that if he is healthy, he can be explosive. So, but I'll just err on the side of caution, say top 15.
Makes sense. And I will say what excites me more is that little dump off from Aaron. That's what really excites me for Breece Hall. Fred, what say you about the running backs?
Definitely top 10. I don't like any running back behind him. Michael Carter-Williams step back. Bam Knight step back. I mean, that's why we went and drafted a 4th-round running back. I mean, I even read today that we are a dark horse about Dalvin Cook. So, of course, there must be some type of worry about Breece Hall and if any injury happens to him again. But I think he's a top 10 quarterback. He was an absolutely tear. Here comes the old man comment for you. They hit a lot faster when you're 22 years old than when you're 30, 35. So he should be perfectly fine by the time he comes back. I mean, he got hurt way back in October. It's been almost, by the time season starts, it'll be almost a year. So I don't see him having any adjustment period. I heard he's on the side running. I think he's going to have a great season.
Yeah, I will say from someone who has had ACL issues and stuff, it's not necessarily about him coming back and being ready. It's definitely something, especially I've never been at that level, but to have men, who are big animals gunning for you and going for those legs that you just got surgically repaired, it definitely puts yourself on edge a little bit. So that's where I think you see the intimidation a little bit in the numbers. Justin, what say you?
Yeah, I think we're downplaying the ACL a little bit too much here. I think he's going to be a top 15. I have him at 15 exactly right now, but I think he's going to be more of a second half guy. We saw last year, J.K. Dobbins really came on in the second half. He was looking putrid in the first half, and it was because I don't think a lot of people really got it. Like, this guy just came back from, I know it's like a routine surgery to these guys, but to any of us, it's a major freaking surgery. You know what I mean? So, they have the best doctors, they have the best training staff, but at the end of the day, he's still got to go out there and he's still got to perform on a leg that was just surgically operated on. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I like him as somebody to get on your team if you're going RB heavy as your RB2, because in that way you can have somebody who you can count on for sure, and then you can have somebody for that back end play towards a playoff push. But still, overall, he's going to be talented. And, Aaron Jones is somebody that comes to mind. If he can get going like Aaron Jones did in that Packers offense, he's going to hit a level of success where he's going to be catching passes at a high rate. He's going to be a PPR demon. I mean, we saw what he could do when they got the ball in his hands last year. I mean, literally the play that he got hurt on was like an 80-yard run. It was freaking crazy. So I'm really leaning on the side of caution here, but I still think he can finish in that 15 position.
Nick, what say you, sir?
Well, there's not really much left to say after all that. So I have him at 10. And again, the pause is the ACL. You guys said everything, how he catches the dump offs in the backfield and the yada, yada, yadas. And then I got Michael Carter at 59 because Michael Carter Williams plays for the Orlando Magic, Freddie. I hope Michael Carter averages more than 4.3 points a game like Michael Carter Williams does for fantasy sake anyway. So that's where I have them respectively. And I think it's going to be a heavy run offense anyway because, again, Aaron Rodgers is 38, so he's not going to be back there slinging it 60 times a game.
I do like the correlation, though, with the Magic and the Jets. That's a good call there. All right, let's move on.
They both suck.
Let's talk about the receivers real quick. Garrett Wilson, I got him 15. Obviously, a step up. He's a great wide receiver as it is, and he's got now Aaron Rodgers. And I'm sure it's going to take a little bit to get the chemistry, but I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is also going to feed him early and often to get that chemistry because that's what it takes. And Aaron Rodgers knows that. So like that, I got Allen Lazard 52. I'm just not sure about the other guys. Mecole Hardman right now 75. Randall Cobb. Now listen, I don't have him even ranked right now. Like I don't even know where he'd be. But we've talked about him many times on the show in a red zone monster for Aaron Rodgers for some reason. So watch out for that. Late if you want to talk about a late flyer on someone, Randall Cobb's not a bad guy to take a flyer on. Howard, what say you, sir?
Garrett Wilson is easily a top 10 wide receiver for me this year. I think we saw it. With garbage quarterback play last year, he looked absolutely fantastic. I expect Rodgers to kind of maybe do a little bit of an early lean towards, throwing Lazard some targets while he gets comfortable. That's the thing. He's got that rapport. Forget Randall Cobb. I don't have him ranked. I got Lazard right outside the top 50 because I do think that there will be a little bit of a lean to him. But, Aaron Rodgers knows that the ticket to his success is going to be getting the ball into the hands of Garrett Wilson and let Garrett Wilson do what Garrett Wilson does. Yards after the catch, strong play, crisp running, route running. I think that we've got just an absolute fantastic guy here. And now you've got a guy who, can get him the ball, will get him the ball. Growing pains, maybe a little bit in training camp, but I think these guys get off the ground running this season, actually. So, I'm big on Garrett Wilson again.
Like it. Fred, how about you?
I agree with Mr. Bender. I'm saving you some time.
Fred with the great analysis from Mr. Bender. All right, Justin, how about you?
Yeah, I think it was a positive sign that he showed up for minicamp. He's not going to leave Garrett Wilson hanging all season long like he did Christian Watson. I like him as wide receiver 8. Allen Lazard's 53. A lot of that's because he's struggled with injury problems in the past. And Randall Cobb, he didn't even make my list.
I just threw him in there. Deep, dark guy. Listen, we're going to play this back later if he becomes something. I'm going to be like, remember that time I said? And then, and then we'll play this back when he does nothing, too.
He wasn't even on my list. I'll say it again.
I told you he wasn't on my list. Nick, how about you, sir?
So I have I have him ranked a little bit lower than everybody else. I have him at 12 right now. Not to say that he's going to stay there. He's sandwiched right in between Waddle and Watson, so he's in good company. I didn't want to drop Watson just because of Jordan Love, even though he probably will fall. But right now, being that it's June, I'm going to have him at 12th. And watch out for Randall Cobb, Karen Rodgers keychain. He's going to pop off and have a Tunyon game. Watch. He's going to have a Tunyon game this year.
Two for Cobb. That's all I got to say right now. All right, let's wrap this up, and we'll talk about these two positions together. I got right now. I got Tyler Conklin as you're going to be your main tight end at number 13. I think he's kind of low ceiling, but he's got a high floor. If Aaron Rodgers gets off with him, so I like him. He finished 17th last year, and that was with, again, we keep talking about the porous QB play. And Jets D, what else can I say? They are good. I got them ranked number 4. The only thing that holds me back from being like, hey, jump up and get the Jets defense is the top part of the schedule. We talked about that too. And you're playing some pretty high octane offenses in your own division, which is 2 games as well. So that's my only holdback with the Jets defense, but I like them a lot as an option this season. Howard, what say you, my friend?
Yeah, the tight end room is mediocre. I'd rather see him hit his pass catchers. I'd rather see him build a rapport with the receiving with Mecole Hardman. I don't love the tight end group. I mean, Tyler Conklin, if you're drafting him in fantasy, no, I mean you probably shouldn't. He's definitely not a top 12 tight end that you're going to be wanting to rely on. So. Mediocre at best. Yeah, Jets D. Yeah, why not? Absolutely. I mean, the key to a strong defensive unit for fantasy is you got to get the team that has the turnovers, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to ball hawking, which is something that you'd like to do. But I do worry that teams are now going to start throwing away from Sauce Gardner. And that's, and like all of a sudden that kind of, takes away some of the allure of him, making more interceptions, making more plays. We've just seen that with so many, top cover corners over the years where we've just seen like after year 1, maybe year 2, teams just stop throwing against them. And then you're like, okay, so where are we at? So I'll take the Jets D in every fantasy league if people are going to leave him for me in one of the last 2 rounds.
Heard that. I like it. What do you say, Fred?
Total in agreement. Tight end position is not that good. Even though I want to see what the young kid does that we just drafted. What the heck's his name? Is it Rucker? No. It's
Kyle Brady.
Zach Kuntz.
Rucker. Yeah, Jeremy Rucker.
Kuntz. I want to see how he does, but honestly, it ain't gonna matter. It's all about the Jets defense. I said at the beginning of the show, top 3 defense. I think Will McDonald has a decent year. He's gonna come into his own. Gonna get more sacks this year. Top 3 defense.
Top 3 defense. He got the sauce. Justin, what say you?
Hot take. None of the Jets tight ends finish in the top 30. Hot take. 0. Why is that? Because they're each going to have a game where they get some attention from Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers loves to kind of do that type of stuff. I agree with Fred. I like Zach Kuntz, but I also like Jeremy Ruckert last year, so what the fuck do I know? But just looking at this schedule, there's a lot to like about it. You're playing the NFC South and you're playing the NFC East. Now, obviously, that means you play the Eagles, but, the rest of it is kind of not the greatest as far as a high-scoring offense. I mean, the Cowboys are hit and miss. The Giants are very hit and miss. And then the Commanders are just, Jesus Christ, get out of here. So, pair that with the Bucks, the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Saints. I love the defense. I think there's going to be a lot of turnovers. I think there's going to be a lot more sacks this year. I think it's going to be a good year to have the New York Jets defense.
I like you. Nick, what say you?
Everything that everyone said, because they said everything that I could have possibly said, and I think the Jets will be a top 8 defense this year. I said I think it was last year, and you laughed at me, Cooper. They had a championship defense. They just had a crappy ass quarterback that couldn't get them anywhere. So they'll be a top 8, especially playing that schedule.
Nick,
he's
I would
a real motherfucker.
Nick, I would never laugh at you, so that's completely false.
That's a complete lie because you do it all the time.
We are going to head out. Howard, can you first of all, thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. It is a blessing to have you in our studio. We appreciate you being here. Let everyone know where they can follow, subscribe, get all of your wonderful content, sir.
You guys can hear me on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm all over at fantasyalarm.com, and the Twitter handle is right here. At RotoBuzz Guy. You can reach out to me over there. So, and I do a fantasy football column for the New York Post. So if you are in the New York area, there you go.
Check it out. Indeed, nothing like a Howard Bender article. We appreciate you being in, my friend. Appreciate you as always. Listen, Nick, tomorrow night, by the way, I'll let you go. I don't know how I got in that rotation. I'll make sure you get first dibs since, everyone.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. I know you were starting to pout a little bit at the end. All right, so let's get it on. We're going to get out of here.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to piss off Cooper. Howard.
Yes.
What do you think about Josh Naylor this year? Is he a pickup?
Josh Naylor? I mean, are you bereft of power and you need to add that? Go ahead.
Howard,
but
he's got 33 points in the last 7 days.
See you tomorrow night for the Patriots. We're out of here. I don't want to hear Nick anymore about dang baseball. Love you guys. We appreciate you, and we are out.